Hi, thanks for watching my lesson. This is first for a while, got a bit lazy lately, but back on it now. This is letter D in my A to Z of blues solos. I struggled to find a D, I'll be honest. Damn Right I Got the Blues by Buddy Guy was the obvious one, but I quickly learned that I can't get anywhere close to the style of bending he does. It's very unique, I'd say even more so than the artists I'm doing here, but yeah, I mean, it's a great song. I just had to give up on it. I then considered Dust My Broom by Elmore James, being that that's another famous blues song beginning with D, but my slide playing isn't really good enough to do that without being a bit of a fraud. And then I discovered this song, which is fortunate because I was running out of ideas, Don't Lie to Me by Albert King. So this was at the early 80s in-session thing he did with Stevie Vaughan. Which is a great album all round, but this particular song I really like, riddled with solos. I've picked two of them, two Stevie Ray Vaughan ones and one Albert King one, which we're going to do now. It's a blues in G. I'll show you the rhythm quickly, but I'll also post a backing track up somewhere, either on YouTube or Patreon. Tabs will be on Patreon. Yeah, that's it really. It's a string breaker. I don't usually break strings, but I've broken a few learning this song. So fingers crossed they won't break now, and yeah, let's do it. So like I say, blues in G follows the most traditional pattern, 4 bars of the 1 chord, i.e. the G, 2 bars of the C chord, 2 more of the G chord, and then a turnaround of 1 bar of D, 1 bar of C, and then finish with 2 bars of G. And for each chord we're doing this riff basically. So that would be our first 4 bars in G, and what we're doing there is 3rd fret on the low E, 5th fret on the D, 3, 4, 5 walk up on the A, and that's 1 bar. Quite often you'll hear the bass or one of the 2 guitarists when the other one's doing their lead work, they'll hit the D string on the 5th fret twice. And then you move to your C chord, so everything goes down that way. 3 on the A string, 5 on the G, and 3, 4, 5 on the D. So do that twice, back to the G. And then to the D chord, which will be 5 on the A, 7 on the G, 3, 4, 5 on the D. Back to the C. Finish with those 2 bars on the G. That's it. Let's put it all together really quickly. That's it. Let's look at the first solo. So this is going to be Stevie Ray Vaughan. This is starts around the 2:30 mark, I think. And I'm going to do his 2. He does 3 in a row there, 3 choruses, if you like. I'm going to do the first 2 that he does. Not going to do the 3rd one, and then after that, Albert King starts, and I'm going to do the first one of his in that little batch of solos. So we're going to start off G minor pentatonic, pattern 2, and it's going to sound like this. So very Albert King-esque there. So we've got a full step bend on the 8th fret of the high E. Hold it for a little bit. And then quickly play 6 on the E and then 8 on the B. And then pick that 8 again. And then I struggle to work out what he does here, but I think basically he's hitting a D note and he's sliding down. So you could try and get that D on the A string. But I found that was quite tough, so I just picked it up on the low E on the 10th fret. And then slide down. This first bend, by the way, comes in on beat 2. So 1, 2. And then the second lick is going to go like this. So we've got another full step bend on the 8th fret. And for all these bends so far, by the way, we are cutting them off, we're not hearing the release. So we've got that full step bend, and then we're going to play the 7th fret on the E string, and we're going to do a half step bend. And that's a slightly slower bend. And then repeat, do the 8 one step, the 7 half step. So far. And then we do that 6 on the E, 8 twice on the B move again. And then we finish that with sliding really quickly from 7 to 5 on the G, and then play 3 on the G. And then lick 3 is going to be this. So that's a bend and release on the 8th fret again on the E string. And then play 6. And then play 8 on the B, give it some vibrato. And then tricky bend here, with the first finger we're going to play the 6 on the E again. Hold it for a little bit and then bend it up. And that's kind of... Imagine you're going for a full step bend, which would be tricky with your first finger, but we're going to cut it off before we get there. You definitely don't want to sound that one releasing, that would sound pretty bad. Like that. So you're aiming for a full step, kind of that pitch, but you're probably going to get around there before you cut it off. And then we quickly follow that up with 7 on the G, 8 on the B, 6 on the E. Back to 8 on the B. Quick bit of vibrato. And then pick the 6 on the B, very staccato. So far we've got this. And now we have lick number 4, which is going to be... And that's basically the first Stevie Ray Vaughan solo, that's the first 12 bars. And this last one goes 8 on the B, 6 on the E, 8 on the E, and then we're going to do 3 full step bends on the 8, not sounding release. Then we're going to do a half step bend on the 7. And then finish with 6 and then on the E, 8 on the B, back to 6 on the E, and then pick the 6 again on the E and do one of those little first finger bends that we cut off. back to 8 on the B. I think there's another quick pick in there on that 8 on the B, doesn't matter too much. And then finish with that, which is sliding quickly from the 7 to 5 on the G. Then playing 5 on the D. And then playing 5 on the G again. And then playing 3 on the G. Tiny little micro bend. And then 5 on the D, and then 5 twice on the A. So all together for that first solo, we're going to have this. And that's solo number 1. Let's do solo number 2. So this solo is pretty mental, and it's got a couple of moves that I've never ever attempted before, and I'm not sure I've got them entirely right, so feel free to correct me if you think I've got them wrong. I'll let you know as we get to them, but yeah, it's some very unique double bending, like picking the same fret on 2 different strings, bending it. It's very cool. So yeah, watch out for those as well. So we're going to start the second solo like this. We're going to do a kind of a full bend on the 8th fret of the E again. But we're not quite going to make that bend, and then we're going to immediately do another one, and with the other one, the second one, our finger's also going to be covering the 8th fret on the B string, and we're going to be bending that as well. So it's quite hard to do this one out of context and slowly, but let's give it a go. That's alright. So I'm bending it the first time up to about there. And in that motion, I'm then grabbing the B string on the 8th fret with my finger. So that when I bend it again, I'm bending both strings. And that second bend, I am trying to achieve the full whole tone, full step. So a good way to sort of guide that is to try and be precise with the right hand. So right hand, I am definitely just aiming for that top E. And then the second pick, I'm trying to get both the B string and the E string. And that's your first 2 parts of this solo. Cut them off, and then we go back to it, and this time we are again using our ring finger covering the 8th fret on the E and the B, but we're trying to pre-bend that up a full step. And basically we're holding it there. So, and then you hear a very slight release. Back to that move, which we did in the first solo, which is 6 on the E, 8 twice on the B. And then this move again, which is sliding from 7 to 5 on the G and then 3 on the G. So that's not even the hard bit yet, but let's have a look at that again. So start off with this. Cut it off really quick. And now we get to the bit which is quite confusing to work out what he's doing. Basically we start off with that pre-bend double stop, if you like. So 8, 8, E string, B string. And this time we definitely sound that release. And then what what I think he's doing is moving that double stop to the 7th fret. So if it's easier for you to use your ring finger, slide down and do that. But this pre-bend is more of a half, so 7 on the E, 7 on the B, but more of a half step pre-bend. And then you're hearing that release as well. I think it's better if you can use your 2nd finger for the 7th fret. But these are all tricky, so whatever suits, whatever's more comfortable. And then what I think he's doing is picking the 7 and 7 again, but we've gone slightly higher in the pre-bend. And you're hearing that release. You're also kind of hearing it coming up a little bit for the bend. So that sounds really shoddy when I'm doing it slowly. Let's try and put it all together again. So after we've come off of that tricky 2nd bend and release on the 7/7, we're going to play 8 twice on the B. And then 6 on the E twice. First time don't bend it, 2nd time do that little 1st finger bend again. After you've done that 1st finger bend, pick it again unbent. Play the 8 again on the B. And then do a 1st finger bend again on the 6th fret of the E. So. Really quickly come in with this move again, which we did in the 1st solo, which is 7 on the G, 8 on the B, 6 on the E, back to 8 on the B, and then quickly pick the 8 again on the B, and then slide from 7 to 5 on the G, and then hit that 3. So in context. So you've come off some really tricky double bends, and then you've got to very quickly get that lick in, and the timing. The timing, as always, is a tricky part. So listen to the proper version, listen to my little introduction, performance piece, and just try and work out that timing. And then we finish this solo by playing something a bit more normal for our fingers, and it sounds like this. So what we got there is your sort of classic Chuck Berry lick of bending the 5th fret up a step. Before we've reached that full bend, we then hit 3 on the B and then 3 on the E. We're then going to play 6, 3, 6 on the B. And then 3 on the E, 3 on the B. 6, 3 on the B, 5 on the G. We're then going to do that again, the bend in the 5 on the G, and then 3, 3 on the B and the E. I think in actual fact he does a double stop 3, 3 first, so it'll be. So bend that 5 up 1 step, play 3 and 3 together, and then play 3 on the E by itself. And then we have a half step bend on the 5, don't sound the release, play it again on the G string. 3 on the G, 5 on the D, and then 3 on the E string, use your thumb if you can. So far. And finish with this. So that chord move is hammering on from 3 to 4 on the G, then play 3 on the E, 6 on the B, so after the 6 on the B, back to 3 on the G, maybe just a bit of vibrato or a little micro bend, and then 5 once on the D, 5 twice on the A. And finish with 5, 3, 5 on the D. Staccato. So that last bit all together. Tough. I'm not sure how that's translated as a lesson, but I'm going to play the whole of the second solo slowly, and then we'll look at Albert King's one. Right, now the Albert King one, which is in some respects easier, but that's only because I've simplified the bending. So Albert King's playing it down in what looks like this pattern 1 position, but I think because of the weird tuning he uses, it's tuned to E minor or something like that, it doesn't really work for most of us down here. So I play it up here around the sort of pattern 4. Also, a lot of his bends are kind of, he's already pre-bent the string a whole step and then he's bending it up again, so I'm not doing that, I've adjusted it. So this isn't authentic Albert King, but it will be the same notes, essentially. If you want to do it like he does, yeah, all power to you. It's not easy. Anyway, so I'm going to play this one slowly first in duration, partly to remind myself of how to do it. And we have this. So quite quick, so starting off with, yeah, so what I'm doing is I'm bending up 1 step on the 13th fret for that first lick. Plenty of vibrato. What would be more authentic to Albert King would be to actually play it on the 11th fret, have it already bent up a step and then bend it an additional step. I'm not going to do that. It won't sound as good. And these strings are pretty old and rusty. I had to change guitar, as I said, because I broke strings on the other one and I haven't changed them yet. So we're going to do it this simplified version. So start off 13th fret on the B string, bend it up a step, hold it a little bit before you do the vibrato, and then start doing some wide vibrato. So, and then pick it again, release it, but cut off that release just slightly into it. So. And then we follow it with this, which is 12, 11, 12 on the G, 11 on the B, 13 on the B, pick that 13 again unbent, and then pick it again and bend it. So my light has just died, but I'm going to carry on. So we've gone 12, 11, 13, 13, 13 with a bend. One step, don't sound the release. And then 11, slight first finger bend. And then 12 on the B, on the G, sorry. And then play the 12 and the 11 together, double stop, really quick. Cut it off. So far. And then very quickly we go into lick number 3, which is so that starts off with 12 on the G, 11 on the B again. And then 13 on the B, but this first pick is this time a bend. Quite a slow bend, up one step. So after 12, 11, bend the 13, we then use our second finger to bend the 12th fret on the B string, up one step. And so the kind of timing of these bends is this. So slightly longer on the 12th fret bend than the 13. Then use the first finger to play the 11 again on the B and give it plenty of vibrato. And then very quickly play 12 on the G, 11 on the B, 12 on the G. And hit that double stop again of hitting them both together. Follow with that lick, which is 12 on the G, 11 on the B, 13 twice on the B, and then again with a bend, and then a little micro bend with the first finger on the 11th fret of the B, 12 on the G, and then we're going to play quickly this, which is 11 again on the B, 12, 10, 12 on the G. You might have to switch your fingers down a little bit for that. And then we hit that double stop again of 12, 11. But this time we slide it down. So the whole solo so far. And then we have this move. So start off on the 8th fret of the B, and then 11th fret on the B, and then play 11 again, but this time pre-bend it up one step. And then we're going to pick it 2 more times with it pre-bent, and both times we're going to hear that release. So play the 11 again unbent, and then the 8. So 11 on the B, play 13 and bend it up one step. Play the 11 again, little micro bend. Twelve on the G, B, G. And then finish with this. So pull off 6, 3 on the B. And this comes in quite quick, so you've got to get down there quite quickly. So 6, 3. Bend half a step on the G, 5th fret. Don't sound a release, play it again and pull off to the 3. 5 on the D. 3 on the G. 5 on the D, 5 on the A. And that's it. Yep, quite a lot to take in there, quite a lot of tricky techniques. Even though this video is probably way too long, I'm going to play that whole of the Albert King one together now, quite slowly, and then we'll call it a day. That's it. Hope your fingers don't hurt too much. Hope you haven't broken any strings. I'll see you for the next one. Thank you.